Hey, English 11, Mr. Nass here, coming to you from my living room. Couldn't get this to work at school, so here we are. Welcome to my living room. Today we're talking about surface features, and this is diction and syntax. Those are the two things, the two words that we're going to focus on for this lesson. So, word choice matters. Check out the difference between Catwoman, the superhero, and Cat Lady, an old lady who likes cats. Right? Catwoman, cat lady, word choice matters, even if it's just the difference between woman and lady in this case. Let's check out our framework and see where we are. We've already done the rhetorical situation, already done rhetorical appeals, now we're on the bottom, and we're looking most closely at rhetoric with surface features. That includes diction, syntax, imagery, and figurative language. Today we're just looking at these two, diction and syntax. So just the two on the left, on the bottom of our framework. You will need your notebook, so pause the video, grab your notebook, take a few notes here as we work through surface features. Surface features are how the speaker or writer uses language, organization, structure, form, and they help the speaker or author use their appeal. Ethos, pathos, logos, everything works together. And I've already talked about the different ones we'll be looking at. So how a text is organized helps the appeals work, helps to address the rhetorical situation of any text. Hopefully you're seeing with the framework how all of this works together. All this works together for effective rhetoric. So rhetoric that convinces people, persuades people, and does the job it's supposed to do. So how does a speaker use language to appeal to the rhetorical situation? Well, if a speaker wants to use pathos, maybe that's the appeal that they're using, they might use like a moralistic or a passionate diction. They might use their word choice might be trying to get to the feelings of the readers or of the listeners, and so that affects the word choice that they use. So what is diction? And yes, you need to write this down in your notes. Diction is the choice of words. Very simply, what words does the author use? And specifically, which words best send the message that you're trying to send. So some questions you might ask would be, is it formal or informal? Is it descriptive or is it plain? Is it simple? What adjective could describe the types of words the speaker uses? This link here, there's a link on Schoology to give you some ideas for how to describe diction, because sometimes it's really hard to think about how to describe the word choice of an author. I'll give you some ideas on that one. And so in Schoology, you'll see a link in this lesson. You can always use that resource to help you out. Already talked about Catwoman versus Cat Lady and how that sends a really different message depending on the word choice. Another example, you could talk about same person 3 different ways. He's so stubborn, right? Hard to change his mind. He's such a stick in the mud. Stick in the mud is a phrase, kind of an older phrase for someone who's stubborn. He's ridiculously hard-headed. So 3 different ways, word choice, that you could use. Some a little bit more informal, some a little bit more formal. Trying to give you an idea of how authors pick the words they use. I'm going to not watch the video here, and we're going to jump to syntax because you need this in your notes as well, and then I'll explain our assignment. So syntax is order of words. Diction was choice of words, syntax, order of words. So typically in a sentence you have subject, verb, object as the order. The dog ate the bone. The dog's the subject, ate is the verb, the bone is the object. If we said ate the bone, dog the, we've mixed up all these words, we've changed the syntax. And so in different languages, you can switch it around a little bit more. In English, you can switch it around to have different effects. And also capitalization, punctuation, and commas have something to do with syntax. But think word order when you think syntax. First let's ask some questions about syntax, then I'll show you my favorite example of syntax that always comes to my mind. Are they in an unusual order? Are there words that are isolated, like with parentheses, dashes, or commas? Are there repeated words, short or fragmented sentences, run-on sentences, rhetorical questions, or maybe some punctuation that's unconventional or not typical? Here's my favorite example of syntax, right? Yoda, he always changes the syntax. The greatest teacher, failure is. Move the words around, syntax. That's why so much of what Yoda says is so memorable, because they change the syntax. So, we get the deeper meaning of a text when we understand syntax because writers move things around, move around words and phrases to try to make things stand out. So they try to get you to notice things. And they're calling attention to certain details, trying to emphasize certain details. And I'm going to explain this assignment in a moment. But the basic thing that you need to know, and you should have both these things defined in your notes, but if you want a simple way to remember it, diction is word choice, syntax, word order. So let's talk about the assignments you have here really quickly in this lesson. All right, in the lesson you just have a must-do and a mastery check. The must-do, describe diction and syntax, and for this one you're actually going to be looking at 2 short videos and basically watch the clip. The first one is to practice diction. Watch the video clip, highlight in the script, which is right here, 5 uses of diction you think are important to the message. Think about powerful attention-grabbing words and phrases. So you'll do that here, and then you'll explain why you chose those words and phrases, how they contribute to the message. There's a second video clip here, which is very different, and you're looking at syntax. Same thing, in the script, highlight abnormal or significant syntax choices by the author. And this is the script for the second one. It's repeated a couple times in the video. That's the script. And then explain. Explain why you chose those phrases. Explain how the syntax affects the reader and affects the message. That's the must-do. And then when you go to the mastery check, which is the second thing, you will choose one of these advertisements. There are 5 options. Just write in the option. Like if you choose Nike, just write Nike in the box here. And then you will quickly describe the rhetorical situation, because you're so good at that now with all your practice. Rhetorical appeals, you're also really good at that. Logos, ethos, or pathos, how do you know? And then down here you're going to describe the diction and give examples, multiple examples from the text, from the ad to support your conclusion. And then finally, describe the syntax and give multiple examples to explain how they support the message. So you're picking apart these ads, looking at language. That's your job for today. We'll see you in the next one.